Well, it is a cold, dreary, rainy day. It's kind of a nasty day. But we have two quotes we've got to go perform for Dirt Perfect. One is a creek cleaning, if you will. Got some beaver dams and such. And then the other is a potential pond build. So let's go check this out. Well, here we are at the pond review, potential pond review. I'm here to tell you, if we get this job, this is going to be one of the prettiest ponds that we have built view-wise. You guys can see the current view that this homeowner has. They've got a gorgeous house at the top of the hill, a really nice backyard, and an amazing view from a couple of different viewpoints. You've got a porch view, you've got a screened-in porch view, and then you've got a lot of windows on the back side of this house. So for me, I'm sitting here going, man, the mirror effect of this water, if we can achieve what this customer wants, and it comes down to dirt quality at this point, I believe, this is going to be one of the prettiest ponds in Perry County. Personal opinion, but I'm pretty confident in that opinion. So what we've got a couple of set points. Right down there, you guys can see that used to be a tree or an old fence post or something, just a vertical piece of wood coming out of the ground. That is 56 yards from where I'm standing to that fence post. Let's call it a fence post for conversation wise. Over there we have a set point that we have to be careful with, as there is a septic system for this home just above that leaning tree that you can see in that group of 3 trees. So we have to stay 50 feet below that and 2 foot in elevation below that, which the 2 foot is easy to achieve. The 50 feet gets us down roughly 10 foot off of this taller grass that you see here. And now you might be asking, how big of a pond is this going to be? We could achieve a really, really big pond. We just don't have enough dirt for it. And we don't want to have to haul dirt in. We want to be able to use the dirt that's on site. And that's the way we're going to quote this one. So off of this left-hand side, if you can envision, and I will go to HuntStand and draw this out for you guys so you and the customer gets a really good understanding of what we're thinking here. But if we come off of that fence post, and again, that's the bottom of the back slope, so it will slope up, and then somewhere over in here, connect this with an angle, and then turn and start a long radius all the way over to this drainage that you see right here in the middle, which gets us close to our set point on this back side. From where we were standing right back there to the furthest set point is 54 yards. So if you start doing that math, an acre is 44,000 roughly square feet. A half acre is 22,000 square feet. And what this customer would like to have is at least a half acre pond. We can achieve the half acre. I believe we've got enough dirt on site. What it's going to come down to is quality of dirt. But right here is our other set point. Right in here, we've got the septic system up at the top of the hill, and we don't want this hump to allow water to go any further, because I believe a lot of our usable dirt is going to be on this high side here. And this low side is just going to be carved out and be taken both ways. And as we start coming up the hill this direction, we can pull this dirt back and over for the inside or the back slope. But let's walk all the way over here and I'll show you guys the amount of dirt we have. Basically anything below this tree here to the guy wire and down is usable dirt. As you guys can see, this customer has a really nice backyard too. So we want to try to mitigate tearing up his yard as much as possible. As we get over to this corner, we have a county road here. We'll hop down on this county road. We've got at least 6 foot of dirt that we can take off of this hillside, but we can't go so deep that we destroy the ditch, because this is a waterway for the county. So I'm going to say we've got 5 foot of dirt in here that we can pull back off of this hillside with the excavator and use it for our side that we're on right now of this pond, for the inside slope, hopefully the core, and the outside slope. So if we get back down here to our set point, you guys will be able to see a little bit better as to how all this is going to connect together. Again, that set point being this dark green strip right here. That's not the septic system, it's a washout that he's got going on. So we'll take that hillside out, carve it out. Inside slope's going to pick up, flatten off, and then the back slope's going to tie in over in here, which is why that dirt becomes, in my mind, primo dirt. It's right next to where the dam's going to be constructed. We're hoping it's good dirt for a core, inside and outside slopes. If you guys have heard me say before, that dirt really doesn't matter. They're just chalks to hold the core in place. The core is what really matters. So if we can find some good dirt, a couple feet down over here, strip all the topsoil off of this if there is any, take that good dirt, transfer it into this core, and then that being the fence post right over there, this dam turn, run along the back side of the hill, sloping down, again, roughly 50 yards in, so we can achieve a ½ acre here, connect over to that fence post, and then angle to that other high spot that you see over there. Now, if I get down here, you guys can see why I call that a high spot. From where we're at right now to over there is probably 6 feet in elevation change. And we've got to bring that dam up in here to make it the same as over there. So our core is actually going to be dug somewhere right around in this area. Again, staying 50 feet away from that septic system, which is basically here is 50 feet. So if we tie our core into here and our water level stays no higher than that 50-foot mark, we have met that set point. Carry it all the way around, again, bringing all of this up in this area to that elevation that would match this elevation, all the way down along the back side of that hill, all the way over to what I called the fence post, and then taking that angle and connecting it to the right of the well that's right there on that corner. Now, if we look at that from this side, you guys can really start to see how this falls off, and it doesn't pick back up until over there. So we're gonna have to fill in this section here to make sure that that water does not creep any closer than 50 feet of that field bed. Customer's okay with water being up here, but the health department is not. So we got to play a happy medium to get the customer what they want and to meet the requirements that the health system has in place for us when it comes to septic systems. If we get all the way over here on this corner, I believe there's some good dirt under my feet where we're walking right now, but we've got this well. This well is a 100-year well, 240 feet deep. So I have zero concern of this pond impacting this well, but we're still going to try to stay at least 20 feet off of it. If we recontour this corner to make it a slow entrance into the water, I believe we'll be able to give this customer a really nice entertaining area just below their house that will allow them to maybe even put in a beach or a beach house, pond house, whatever you want to call it, something on this corner, because it's not as steep as everything you see over there. And when it comes to cost, if you guys look down through there, you can see that falls off and then picks back up way on the other side, in which we will bring that dam up in the middle. We don't want to spend a whole bunch of money filling that in, so we only want to fill in the section that's required to keep it 50 feet from the field bed. It's the only dirt we're going to put over in there. So if you guys can imagine, and again, you'll see a bird's eye view of this, come over to this corner, reshape this corner a little bit to get that water up in here as far as we can get it and staying off of that set point, and then curling around and then getting pretty straight, honestly, and connecting all the way over there to that really dark green line would be the next set point that pond would turn pretty hard 90 and run down over that hill. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. That's going to get this ½ acre pond really centered in this home, which is going to give a good view no matter where you're at in the house. I mean, there's already an amazing view, you guys can see that, but adding a body of water in the mirror effect right here below this home with that view, that's going to tie in really nicely. So the next step of this bid process, we'll be going to the computer, drawing this out on the hunt stand that you guys have seen me do before, and that'll give you a really good visual of what all we're going to do and how we're going to move this dirt. Okay, so here we are on hunt stand. I'm sure you guys can tell from the beginning of this video that I forgot about this footage, honestly. So here we are, finalizing this video so that you guys can understand what we have quoted and slated for work in 2024 with Dirt Perfect. But here is the home. You guys can see it right up here. This is the home. This is the view. This is the great big valley. Here is that washout that he's got going on that we have to steer clear of. So we are going to add a set point here in red. And we're also going to continue it up because right up here is where that septic system is. You can actually see the inspection cover there. So we're just going to draw us a nice outline. We have to stay 50 feet. Again, as stated earlier in the video, we have to stay 50 feet off of this to make sure that the water from the pond does not impact the septic system. Get that titled there so we know that's a good set point. And then also over here, we need to put another set point. This is the well that you guys, the 100-year well that you saw in the photo there, or in the video there, should I say. Oh, I hit the wrong darn thing. Don't save it. And actually, I could probably do this a little bit differently and just add a bullet point right there. We're going to call it a hazard, even though it's not a hazard. Now we have all of our set points listed out here. And it's really hard to tell with this vegetation in this bottom field here, but that fence post that I was pointing at was somewhere right around in here. Not 100% certain of that, but we're going to draw out this dam. I'm going to draw the core first, and if you guys remember, this taller grass right here is essentially 50 feet from the field bed. I don't know if these field bed lines are drawn exactly right, but we located the field bed and stepped off that 50 feet that we've got to keep separation there. So we're going to use this rough line here as our point. And again, we've got to stay off of this washout that he has here. Essentially what that washout is, due to this being on a hillside, this septic system has a curtain drain all the way around it that comes down and exits right here. So that water that's being sent underground daylights out to this point. We could extend that, but since it's a 4-inch perf line, it also absorbs water that comes down the hillside. What we don't want to do is make the water that is caught from above the septic system to end up in the pond, just to be sure that there's no contamination. So we're going to stay away from that. So our core, again, this being the 50-foot set point, water line can't go any higher than this. We will bring our core a little bit beyond that, and then that core will turn at basically a 45-degree angle and come down into here, turn, and we're going to straighten it out some, and then we're going to come back to that fence post. And again, I'm pretty confident that's it right there, but I am not 100% certain. And once we get up into this high side, we're going to get pretty close to this drive. But as you can see here on the left, we're getting above that taller grass area. But again, this is our core, not our water line. So our core needs to go beyond our water line. And then our core would come back this way. I don't know the width that this core is going to be. We never know that until we get there and we find out what type of soil we're trying to seal with and in. So we're going to draw this core as a what-if scenario, opposed to a guaranteed this is where we're going to be. And as you can see, we're going to end up keeping our core off the edge of that line. And again, that line can be / will be extended beyond the back slope of the pond to make sure that it does not get stopped up. We're going to call that one other. Save that as the core. Now we can come in here and we can draw out the back slope. The back slope, again, all this hillside over here is usable dirt. We only have to stay 10 feet off this county road. So we can slope all of this to run downhill instead of it all being sloped right to the county highway, which is a 6-foot bank here. All this dirt down in this corner is going to be usable and honestly needs to be reshaped so that his yard doesn't run all the water this direction to then come this direction. It needs to be reshaped to make sure it all flows properly. But if I was to connect this back slope to the end of the core, it would come at a slope this way, come down, come over. And this customer does want a minimum of we call it backwards really, 4-to-1 slope so that it's mowable. But he is wanting a slope that is comfortable enough to mow with a 0 turn and comfortable enough to brush hog the bottom side of it because he does not plan on mowing this levee 100% of the time. So we're going to call this the back slope. And you can kind of see this left-hand side over here is going to be shaped a little bit differently, and that's because of how this hillside lays in here, where this hillside here already has a really nice slope to the drive and away from the drive to run parallel with the drive. So we just kind of want to match that and blend it. And that back slope may come over here a little bit closer to the driveway to then turn and come through here. But this is going to give you guys a really good photographic understanding of what this pond is going to lay in here like. So now if we come to the top side, again, we cannot go any higher than this tall grass. So if I draw a line right here, straight across to the other side, this would be bare minimum water line. And I'm stating that for a reason that I will give you here in just a second. Get this listed out as water line here. The reason I state that is because we may be able to, from this corner, let's assume this is the proper corner for the field bed. If you come out 50 feet, I guess we could do that, honestly. We can get a distance. Looks like the distance is in yards. So essentially what we're looking for is 20 yards. That's going to be 60 feet, but that's going to be close enough. So you guys can see that it's not real far down in here. And I know that's a little, well, it's actually feet now, 20.3 feet, close enough for who it's for. And this is what I'm going to call a set point. And that's going to give you guys a really good understanding of where our encroachment point is. We cannot go any further than that point right there. So we could honestly, with that core being there, we could come in here and we could do some really interesting things. This is at a hump and this is a valley. So if we came in here and we kind of drew this out a little bit, if he did not want a straight line, and I know these are points, not radiuses, but we could kind of come all the way up into here and roll this pond around. And again, we've got the set point of the well, but our hope is not to have a water line that's perfectly straight. As you guys heard me say in the beginning parts of this video, what we really want to do is give them a really nice area for entertaining. And if that water line, and I'm only clicking on this, we have a crosshair. If that water line was just straight across, I'm not saying that wouldn't still look good. However, if we can kind of contour all of this head section, and I call that a head section because everything from the left-hand side of the house, everything from below the house, including the gutter system, all feeds downhill this direction that we are going right now with the crosshair. So if we can come in here and give them some nice contours along this hillside, 100% of it is going to receive water, but that's going to allow them to potentially come in here and right off of this corner, for example, they could then straight line it from one side to the other, and they could make all of this sand, if you will. So that would allow them to have a really nice area to entertain, close enough to the house, but yet far enough away, since they do have children, that they've got some backyard here to be able to monitor their kids and make sure that they don't end up in the pond whenever they're not supposed to. So we don't want to get too close to the house, but just straight lining this thing, in my opinion, is not going to do this as much justice as what I know Dirt Perfect can do. So we're going to zoom out here and give you guys a really good bird's eye view. And hopefully this gives you guys a really good understanding of what this quote process and the outcome is potentially going to be. As I see this pond being one of the prettiest ones that we will build in the year 2024. We've built some really nice ponds in 23. I think you guys saw the large pond, if you will, that ended up with a peninsula in it from, heck, that might have even been from 2022. But we built some really nice ponds, and I think this one has the potential to turn out to be one of the best looking ponds that we've built, simply because of the location and the view that the homeowner has from their home. So hopefully this gives you guys a really good understanding as to one of the jobs that we did get awarded this year. We are going to build this. We got awarded it in 2023, and we're going to build it in 24. But you're probably going to see this on Dirt Perfect's channel towards Christmas time of 24 would be my guess, or maybe early in 25. But just know that this is a job we're going to perform, and it's going to turn out awesome. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and don't forget to share away.